supposed to have almost 55 plus people here, but everybody else is trying to get in their fursuits at the moment, trying to get over here. I'll have 200 fursuiters and no one that wants to learn. But I'm JB Jaguar Trekwolf, however you want to call me here. Yes, I'm a cat. I'm a canine that meows like a cat, and a cat that barks like a dog, and a coyote that just doesn't know what he's doing. So, I get a little confused sometimes. I've taught this. This here is my 9th or 8th time here at Anthrocon. I taught it twice in one day. Several years ago, I taught this twice at Furpocalypse. Yes, I know it doesn't sound like a lot, being only 10 times, but you look at my YouTube video, it's got 300 and some views. But when you're watching it, you're going to learn. Here, you're going to learn. There's people out there that have tried to teach this, that have 6,000 plus views. Within the first 2 minutes of watching their video, I'm like, okay, can't watch this, because they stand there and their fursuiter's melting under a spotlight. And then they look at each other and go, what are we supposed to talk about? I don't play that. I know exactly where I'm going. So, you're going to learn how to handle your fursuiter, how to communicate with them, how to navigate them, how to deal with steps, escalators, elevators, curbs, objects, crowded rooms. You're going to know how to deal with a medical situation. You're going to know how to deal with fanboys and fangirls. I was supposed to have a physically challenged fursuiter here, which I don't see at the moment, and you'll learn how to deal with a quad suitor, which I have not seen any quad suitors in the convention yet. So, main thing about when you go to choose your handler as a fursuiter, when they ask you to be their handler, like you two, I assume you two are either married or boyfriend and girlfriend, correct?
Father-daughter.
Father-daughter, okay.
Close.
You have a severe emotional attachment to her. As a handler, you need to keep your emotional attachment aside. God forbid something happens to her, you need to remain calm. You need to set that emotional attachment aside. So when you're a handler, as, like I said, Gareth here with me, he's an EMT. He puts that love aside and becomes a professional EMT at that moment to handle for me. So you need to set your emotional, if somebody asked you to be that way, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, father, daughter, whatever, you need to put that emotional attachment aside. Because if something happens, you're going to be their life in your hands at that point. So, going on, 3 things you need to work on before you even leave the room. You need to learn to communicate in an honest manner so that you trust each other. Because if you don't trust each other when you walk out of that room, it's not going to work. It will not work at all. So, example, I said I had 3 heart attacks. Gareth here, if I was to turn around and say, would you be my handler? What do I need to know? Now, I need to be honest with him. So we're starting a communication, and I'm going to be honest with him and tell him I've had the heart attacks. Can you deal with that? Sure, I can handle that. Therefore, I trust him. If he tells me he's an EMT, I'm going to trust him immediately, if we were not mates or significant others. If it's any other case, if he was to sit there and go, well, and he starts beating around the bush for 30 seconds, I'm not going to trust him at all. Now, it's not a one-way conversation here. He needs to come back and say to me, Trek, look, it's 10 o'clock. I have an 11:45 lunch date. I need to be back down in the West End. Now, he's honest with me. I said, my question back would be, are you going to take me back to my room, or are you just going to leave me? As a handler, he should take you back to your room, not leave you stranded somewhere in the convention. So you see how the communication and the honesty, before you can even trust each other to leave the room. Because if you don't have that, if you can't trust your handler to keep you safe, or you can't trust your fursuiter to listen to you, or them to be honest with you, it's just not going to work. Somebody's going to get hurt. You're going to run into a wall, they're not going to pay attention. So as a handler, you need to pay attention to everything around you and around the suitor. So, again, you need to learn to communicate honestly, to trust each other, because if you don't, it's not going to work. Say, I'm sorry, this isn't going to work. Apologize. If you lose a friendship, fine. You two can't lose each other because it's father-daughter. But you see how that works. You have to communicate honestly to trust each other. If you don't, it's never going to work. So that slides right into the medical issue. In a medical situation for a fursuiter, the main medical situation that a fursuiter can face is dehydration. That's the worst part that they ever will face. Heat stroke maybe while they're in the suit, because most of us know, or those of us that are not fursuiters, they can go to 130 degrees in those headpieces if they don't have a fan. Get very ugly in there. So in a medical situation, as I was saying with Gareth here, if I turn around and tell him I've got an elephant sitting on my chest and I can't breathe, my heart's coming out of my chest, it's instantly, he would lay me down. Now this is, again, this is worst case scenario. In any medical situation, you're going to draw a crowd. At this point in time, you need to take charge as the handler. Not nasty. Again, take charge and stern. I need you and you keep the crowd back. You and you keep this area open. You get on the phone to ConOps or go find a door side to get the paramedic to this point. You need to remain calm. Point. Calm. You panic, it's their life. Remember that. He panics, I die. He'll yell, go get me an AED. They're all over the convention center. You'll see them on the wall. If you know CPR, help them. If you're with the fursuiter, say you're with these two young ladies here, you see another fursuiter in trouble. Take your two ladies, set them aside, I'll be right back. You go help the other fursuiter and ask them if they're okay. Don't ever let another fursuiter just go off and do nothing. Actually, as a matter of fact, here comes my one fursuiter here. If you want to come up, watch the back, folks. It's okay. You can have your feet over here. If you need water, just yell at Cookie and we got water in the back for you. Okay. So, Cookie, have a seat. Don't stand there the entire time, please. You make me nervous. So, as I was saying, as a handler, if you see somebody in trouble, this is my problem. If you see somebody in trouble, help them. If you think they've been in fursuit too long and you've seen them 500 times in the past 3 hours, ask them if they had water. Don't let them go. I seen one guy, he was stumbling. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. Okay, I just want to trust you at the moment. I can feel the body heat from me to you. Okay, fine. He argued with me. I walked away. 2 seconds later, he was face down. If he's going to fight with you, get somebody to help you. Drag him to the headless lounge if you're close enough. If not, get him to the side. Get the headpiece off, whether he's going to fight you or not. Get help. Because he's probably dehydrated and needs help. Now, your signs of dehydration. If, as a handler, don't pester your suitor. Check on them occasionally. Ask them a question. Are you okay? Do you need water? Do you need to go to, do you need to stop? Signs of your suit is soaking wet. If I was to go over and touch and he's drenched, he's probably sweating profusely and really bad in that fursuit. The next question would be, have you stopped sweating? If he has stopped sweating, he's dehydrated permanently and completely. That's when you're not going to panic. You're going to yell for somebody if they have water, or yell for somebody for a door side if there's someone in the area, or yell for somebody to get on the phone to ConOps. Keep ConOps' phone number in your cell phone while you're here, because that's where the paramedic is stationed. the con. Don't ever let your fursuiter, they may get wet, and you're gonna feel them wet, but don't turn around and make sure you know the questions to ask. Have you stopped sweating? How do you feel? They need to be honest back with you and tell you, I'm a little lightheaded, my mouth is really dry, I can't talk all that well. You need to watch for the signs of dehydration for them to keep in this way. You're going to take charge. You're going to sit here, let me go get water. Now, if you can get them to the headless lounge, and that's unfortunate, I've seen this many a time, of poor fursuiter being dragged into the headless lounge by their handler, yelling for help, and nobody helps. Sternly, I need help. Somebody help me get the fursuiter suit in front of a fan. Get the headpiece off. You, and you, help me get some water. Hopefully somebody in that room will help you. Nobody wants to see another fursuiter go down. Remember this, as a handler, you're never off duty. You ladies may be out of fursuit, and he may be walking with you, but as a handler, if he sees somebody in trouble, don't. I'll be right back, and I take off. Saber seen me many times do it. I did it 3 or 4 times to Gareth here. It's his first Anthrocon. I'm running off to check on a fursuiter because that's just me. It's my nature. I want to make sure you're safe. As a handler, that's what you want. In a medical situation, don't ever panic. I can't stress this enough. Don't panic. You panic, you forget. He panics, he forgets I may be having a heart attack. Luckily, he knows how to check for that, but if he didn't, I could die. If he panics and forgets what to do. I carry aspirin with me, give that to me, start taking charge of the situation. Never be nasty to people if they want to come over and help. Don't just get away. Ask them, can you do this? Can you do this? Can you do this? Keep the crowd back, keep this area open in case we have to get an ambulance. And we have to get the paramedic through. That's all you need to do. Stay calm in any medical situation, even with dehydration. Don't panic. So what was the point there? Don't panic. Exactly. I may be speeding along here, going through. It may seem like I'm jumping all over, but the points I'm making, I'm telling you, don't panic. You people are good. You pick that up pretty quick. So again, watch your emotional attachment. Learn to communicate honestly so you can trust each other before you leave the room. And in a medical situation, don't panic. So we're going to move along. We're going to learn how to communicate with your fursuiter while you're out on the floor. 3 forms of communication you have. Verbal is the easiest. Hand signals and body language. Body language being your hardest to read on a fursuiter. So, communication-wise, a lot of suitors don't like to talk in suit, and they don't want somebody to hear them. So what you're going to do is what I do the muzzle to ear. So I'm going to borrow my fursuiter here. She will come with me. I got you. Come on. Okay. Now remember, everybody got to remember, in a fursuit, their ear is here, not here. So when you go muzzle to ear, as I say, you're going to talk here. Your ear is going to be to their muzzle, and you're going to be talking here, not trying to go do one of these and talk up here, because they're not listening from there. They're listening here. So that's the easiest form, is communication, is talking muzzle to ear if they don't want anybody else to hear them. Now normally, do you talk in suit? Okay, so, but there are times that your dad's going to want to know what's going on. He's going to have to do that if you don't want everybody else to hear who you are. He's going to go muzzle to ear this way, or to the other side, either way. And this way he can talk to you, and you can talk to the fursuiter, and they can talk to you in the ear. Take you back to your seat. You don't get hurt. There you go. So That's your easiest form of communication is verbal. Your hand signals, everybody's got them differently. You know, I need a drink. I'm hot. I need to go to the headless lounge. You know, just different kinds of hand signals. Make sure you got them straight. If you're not sure, verbally verify what you want. Well, verbally verify what the suitor wants if you're not sure what they want by giving them by a hand signal. Because some of them can get confusing if you think about it. And then there's body language. Body language is the most difficult of the forms of communication because body language can be read many different ways. I could be walking along and I may go against the wall and just stop and sit like this, trying to catch my breath. My handler may think something is more serious. Then at that point, you're going to verbally again verify with your fursuiter, are you okay? What's the problem? With me, if I feel my heart racing and I feel something may not be right, I'm going to close my eyes in my fursuit and they're not going to see this. So what I'll do is if they pester me, I'll give them one of these to hold on a second because I actually got my eyes closed and I'm actually listening to my heart to make sure it is going because at one point I would go 1, 2, 3. I wouldn't hear the fourth beat and there would be a problem. So I need to listen to what's going on instead of don't pester your suitor. Just verify with them. If they're leaning against the wall again, they may be this way. You can see that they're breathing. I go like this. He's not sure what's going on. Verbally verify everything if you're reading body language. Hand signals, verify if you're not sure. And verbal communication, again, is your easiest form of communication with a fursuiter. You were talking the other day in your fursuit, were you not? Mm-hmm. Okay. Cookie back there, he's shaking his head. Yes, talk, no? No, see? So you talking to him, and he sits there and goes like this, you know, or, you know, the fursuiter may go like this, and you're going, okay, I'm not sure exactly what you're looking for. So he would have to ask Cookie to lean down and talk to him as to what could be going on between the two of them. So always verify your hand signals and your body language if you're not sure what the suitor wants. Now, there's 3 forms of body language that we all know as kids. Our parents taught us this. That is the knock-kneed, hands tucked, bouncing up and down. Number 1. We all have to go pee. That's just life. If your fursuiter goes this way, and you bounce up and down, you got a problem. You need to either take the fire hydrant and throw it, tell them to go find a patch of grass, or take them to the bathroom, one or the other. Then there's the unfortunate stiff-legged, butt-clenching, oh my God, look of terror under the fursuit head, and you can't move because you're now paralyzed, because if you move, there's going to be an accident. That's your dreaded number 2. Then there's the unfortunate one that we've all done that our parents never really put a label on. That is your dreaded, unfortunate, terrible number 3. That is the loose-legged, oh my God, my poor Under Armour can't take no more. And you as the handler, your face starts to contort and go, Houston, we have a problem. And you start slowly going like this, away from the fursuiter. Stay upwind of them, not downwind. If you can hold your breath that long, do so. If somebody says, oh my God, what stinks? Point at the fursuiter because they can't see out of their eyepieces and because they're tearing so bad. So, that's the worst case scenario for that one, is the number 3. The number 2 is the, oh my God, I can't move right now. And the number 3 is you're bouncing up and down because you really gotta go. Again, you take this fire hydrant, throw it, and I can go chase it. So, they're the 3 easiest of the communication in the body language to read. Everything else is verify it verbally. No ifs, ands, or buts about it because you're not gonna know what they're doing. Make sure you know what they want if they lean against the wall or whatever. Again, hand signals, verify if you're not sure. Again, universal, they need a drink. They're hot, they need to go to the headless lounge. If they try and grab for the room key, you know, obviously they want to go back to the room and get out of the suit, whatever. And again, verbal I'm gonna go muzzle to ear, not to the fursuit ear, because they don't listen from there, they listen from down below. So there's your communication. Saying plain, simple, easy, it's all common sense, folks. And you'll see the common sense come out now, because here's your navigation. Your navigation is the longest, hardest part. You, I see, are with those fursuiters. If they need water, we have water in the back with fursuit straws. If you need anything, we have water in the back with fursuit straws, just yell at Cookie. Or let me know and I'll tell him to get your water. Or I'll get somebody to get your water. And again, are you okay? Okay, just making sure. Romer? Good. Cookie? Okay. Again, you see how I'm working the room, making sure the suitors are safe. And we're supposed to talk about what? No, I'm kidding. Joking around, no. So navigation. Navigation is a little long because you're looking at steps. Steps and escalators are different, but yet similar. Elevators is common courtesy towards your fursuiter. I'm seeing a lot of that. The doors, I have no idea what they're doing downstairs. In the Westin, they're putting people in the elevator before the fursuiters. It's irritating me to no extent. But I can't say anything. I've only had 24 years of convention security guarding Star Trek actors. I don't know what I'm talking about. So, that's irritating to me. You're gonna learn how to deal with curbs, how to get them up and down curbs, around corners. They have blind spots. Those of you who have not been in a fursuit, go like this. Those of you who have not been in fursuits, go like this. This is what a fursuiter can see. They can't see below here, and this is all they can see. So they have visual issues. A lot of them have eyes like Cookie, who have real big eyes, or Romer here. They can see out of the whole eye, but again, they still have a visual, they can't see down. And he can only see here. He's not seeing a full 180 degrees like you normally can. So your fursuiter can't see all that well. So you're their eyes. If they decide they're gonna run off to somewhere, then we'll get into that later. So navigation, we'll start with, so I just explained the elevator. Elevator is common courtesy. Make sure your suitor's tail's tucked into the elevator if they're close to the door. Make sure they're comfortable in there and make sure they have enough room. Hopefully they won't pack the elevator too tight.
And also, don't forget, we had Loki yesterday, so we had to make sure that we had Loki
Watch your
bend
fursuiter.
down in the elevator because he is a very tall caribou.
He's about 6 foot. He's about 6'7" in that caribou suit, and his ears were even further. So he's down like this, trying to get into the elevator. Watch the height of your fursuiter. In and out of an elevator, doorways, anything. They don't want them to hit their head and their head snap back this way if their fursuit won't release from under their chin. So, steps and escalators. I asked the question before. Those of you that were in the room, say nothing. Common sense courtesy question to those who walked in. If you are going down steps, where are you in relativity to your fursuit?
In front of them?
Correct. Reason is, if your fursuiter starts to lean, you're going to grab and you're going to pull back to straighten them up. Because they may miss a step, they may not be on the step properly, they may start to lean in, you're going to grab them and push to straighten them out. If you can stop real quick and nobody's behind them, turn and find out what's going on. On an escalator, it's the same way. But again, we're going to work with the steps. So steps, so therefore in reverse, if you're going up, you're behind your fursuiter. Pray to God they haven't had anything gassy for breakfast or lunch or dinner, depending on what time you're suiting. Because it's detrimental to your health then, especially if it was gassy. So what you're going to do on the steps occasionally is you're going to look under and around the fursuiter. So I'm going to borrow a room right here. Watch your step, watch your step. So Romer's going, and I'm behind, and Romer's in front of me going up the steps. I'm going to go, and I'm going to take Romer's arm, and I'm going to just move it, and I'm going to look out and around so I can see what's in front of him going up the steps. Again, either side, left, right, doesn't matter. Thanks, Romer. So you're gonna go up and down, make sure you look around your fursuiter. Same thing with the escalator. You're gonna look around your fursuiter, making sure that there's nothing in front of them, and you can see where the top of the steps or the top of the escalator is. Now, escalators and steps obviously are different in the sense that they move. Your timing, coming off an escalator and coming off an elevator, or a pair of set of steps, is different. If you're coming down the steps, you're in front of your fursuiter, if you can get ahead of them at the bottom by about 5 steps, turn around and watch them, tell them, okay, dude, 4, 3, 2, 1, you're on the landing. This way, they're not going to try and take another step like they're going down and fall. Guide them off the steps. Count the number of steps down for them to let them know when they're on the landing. Tell them when they're on the landing. Big thing, don't ever scare your fursuiter. Don't. If Romer's coming down, 4, 3, 2, 1, and he goes to take that big step, Romer, no. He's going to jump out of his skin. Don't yell at him. Grab him. Tell him you're on the landing. Don't need to take another step like that. That's for your steps. Now your escalators are much more dangerous. Again, with your escalators, as I was explaining to the young lady here who has the white fursuit, the brushes along the sides of the escalator at your feet are full of escalator grease. No balm, no OxyClean, no Folex is going to get that out unless you cut the fur or replace it. Keep your feet as a fursuiter in the center of the step. Don't grab the handrails as a fursuiter tight and put your hand up underneath, because that's escalator grease too, and it'll get all over your hand paws. And again, no Folex, no grease, no balm, no nothing. It's going to get that out. So again, going up and down an escalator, you're going to be looking out and around your fursuiter. You're going to be in front of them going down, behind them going up. Big difference is now the escalator is moving. The escalator has those little grates at the bottom. Fursuiters have claws on their feet. Make sure you, as a handler, keep an eye out on them, because if they're not paying attention, you need to pay attention. Their claws are going to get stuck. They're going to get hurt. You don't want their claws to get caught in those grating along the bottom. So you have to keep alert. Again, if you can run down a couple and turn around. Now, normally when I'm going up or down an escalator, I do the partial Karate Kid stance. I will grab both rails, and my one foot will go up your leading foot that you start off walking with. You usually lift it and hold it to the rail. Your handler, again, will count 3, 2, 1, step. You should be able to step right off that escalator and keep on walking with no problem, unless they're not paying attention. Then you as a fursuiter will get hurt. That's your job to make sure they don't do that. You want them to have fun as a handler. It may seem like a lot to you as a job and go, oh my God, I don't want to do this no more. You are as important in this community, in this fandom, as a fursuiter is. You can have as much fun as they have. Again, you're there to keep them safe in the con. That's why the panel says keeping the con safe for your fursuit. So steps and escalators, you all understand the whole concept of walking off a step and walking off an escalator. So again, you need to make sure as a handler, again, if you're behind them and you're going up, make sure that fursuiter does the same stance. Now you need to look up and around them to make sure you can see where the step is, because you're behind them now, to see where the landing is. Okay, 3, 2, 1, dude, you're near the step. And they'll step right off at the top of the escalator and keep on walking like nothing happened. So this is important. You need to count, if you have to, work with your fursuiter in the house. If you have steps, work with them. Just let them put their fursuit head on and work them up and down the steps. Walk with them up and down. It's that easy. you'll learn the time 3, 2, 1 step, where you count the number of steps up or down. All right, you got 4, 3, 2, 1, you're on the landing. This way they don't take the hard step and fall. Or they don't take the hard step at the top and stumble and play dominoes with everybody in front of them. Don't want to hurt somebody else, you don't want to hurt them. Another point, don't yell at your fursuiter and scare them. And vice versa, your fursuiter should not yell at you. If you do something wrong, as a handler, they should not take you aside and chastise you loudly. They should take you aside and quietly be like, okay, you know what? You really need to pay more attention. I don't want to do that again. I don't want to get hurt. Somebody, my handler, was not paying attention. Table, into the table, onto the floor, table on top of me. I was not happy. Not at all. But I held it in, and I waited till I got back to the room to give him a what for. Now, in that situation, you got two problems. They just caused you to fall. You're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. You're laying there with the table on top of you, possibly hurt. Now you need to switch gears very fast and go, oh God, now I got a problem. Don't panic. You're gonna get a crowd, take charge, call con ops, or get somebody to get to the paramedic to check them out. You see how everything's working together here? You know, you make one mistake, they're gonna get hurt, then you're gonna have to go back to another part of the panel. And let's not whip out your phone and go, oh my God, what did he say? Think. It's all common sense, folks. Everything I'm telling you is common sense. I'm just putting it in a structured manner. So steps, escalators, elevators, curbs outside. The curbs around Pittsburgh are different heights. Some of them are this, some of them are this. Same thing with steps. We have to also understand this concept with the step. If you're walking with your fursuiter and you stop them at a corner, try and explain to them the step it's a high step. Grab them and hold them and help them down off of the curb. Because if it's the high curb and they're not paying attention because they can't see the depth, they're going to fall. If they have the bicycle ramps they have out here, walk them down the ramp. Explain to them how steep it is so that their foot will only go so far and they're not going to go this way. Just keep an eye on them, or they can lean back as they're walking down the bicycle ramp. You get to the other side, you do the same thing. Okay, it's a high step, take a high step, and they'll step. If it's the same thing with the ramp, tell them your foot's going to flex back. Watch, you're on the ramp. And they may stumble at first because they're not sure. And then they'll realize their foot needs to lean back and they'll go up the ramp. And you just keep on walking. You'll get this to the point where it's fluid. And it's just that easy. You grab them and you walk up the step, up the ramp, and you just keep on going like nothing has, like there's not even an object or something there. Now, even the slightest thing on a fursuit foot, if it's not padded, Romer's got padding underneath his feet. Some suitors, their padding is so thin under their foot, they can feel rocks, pebbles. It's going to cause your foot to flex in the fursuit because you're going to step and it's going to go this way and it's going to push into your foot. Diesel's got feet, he can walk over water. They're this big. Nothing's going to bother his feet. Unlike Romer here, whose feet are a little thinner, or Sabers, they may, if they don't have sandals underneath their foot, or a stronger sole, their foot's going to flex in that fursuit because of the slipper. Their foot's going to bend. If you catch them in the wrong manner, it's going to bend and break your foot. If you step on something, they're going to go, ow! You're going to go wonder why. And they'll tell you they just stepped on something. So, with the steps and the escalators, and the elevators and the curbs, objects in their way. Again, tables, chairs, other people. This is where I get angry. And I did this yesterday several times. The dealer's room is wide, each aisle is as wide as this room. Oh my God, I haven't seen you in 5 years. You saw me at the Fur Bowl last week. And they stand there and congregate where you can't get through. So at this point, Saber. My short fursuiter. So we're going to do what we call the boxer and handler, or boxer and manager. Your boxer is always behind your manager. So Saber here is short. So I have blind spots here, but I can still see here. So put your shorter fursuiters in front of you. Take your hands on their shoulder. Make sure they're loose enough. You're not flying a plane, so if I go like this, you're not going to go to the right. If you go this way, you're not going to go to the left, or you're not going to listen to the Geico commercial with the GPS that says, left turn now, and you're going to smack into a wall. So you're going to guide them along. You're going to take them in your left, right, stopping them and starting them, I'll get into later. So you're going to go out over their head and around their sides to see who's in front of you. And you're going to politely ask, excuse me, fursuiter coming through, I need to get to the headless lounge with them. If they don't listen to you the first time, you become a little more stern. If they don't listen to you the third time, blow the horn. Get them out of your way. If you have to get nasty, and excuse my language, ladies, get the hell out of my way. Go congregate and talk somewhere else. If you have to get nasty, but don't be so nasty that you're going to cause a fight. The suitor is your priority to get them through. Have mercy, you're wet.
That's Febreze.
That's the Febreze, okay. I didn't think it was cat litter, I didn't smell that, so. But yeah, so your shorter suitor, if you can look over their head, if you're tall enough, you can do that. Or you walk around their side and see who's in front of them. So you're gonna walk them around the objects or through the crowd. This is mainly for crowds, getting them through there like this. Thanks, neighbor. Now, somebody tall, he's filming. So Cookie's kind of tall. So Cookie, can I borrow you up here? Watch the bag. You got it, but you're good. So Cookie's kind of tall here, so I'm gonna put you behind me. Taller first, so we're gonna go behind you. All right, Cookie, put your hands up on my shoulders. Shoulders. Now, not the head, shoulders. Now, he can see around me. Now you're gonna tell him, all right, Cookie, I go to the right, you go to the right, I go to the left, you go to the left. And you're gonna walk them. Now make sure they don't give you a flat tire, take your shoe off them. As if they're in front of you like Saber, make sure you don't give them a flat tire and take their foot paw off if it's not attached to the suit. So Cookie is right, he's not digging into my shoulders, and I'm loose here. He knows which way I'm turning, you know, and you're in front. Now you're in charge. You see the people in front of you directly, you do the same 3 steps. Excuse me, fursuiter coming through. Again, sternly, third time you blow the horn, get the hell out of my way. It's all the way, you have to be stern at the third point, so he can see over me, so I'm still guiding him, not him, me. He needs to be loose enough on my shoulders to understand which way I'm going. Again, not the Geico commercial where I go this way and he says, into the wall, that way. Thankfully. So, your taller suitors are behind you, your shorter suitors are in front of you. Make sure you have the control. If you're a fursuiter in the room, which I see, no offense, I'll get to you in a minute. If you're walking as a fursuiter and you're behind, you don't take control of your handler. Don't. Let them take you to get you through the crowd. And again, don't fight your handler. Don't go and grab and say, I'm not going to let you turn. It may seem funny, but you need to be safe. I need to get you through this crowd. And if I don't, then it's your problem, and it's your fault for stopping me. Now, again, flat tires are nothing you can deal with. Now, bad part with a tall suitor like Cookie. Now, Cookie's lucky he's got just regular feet. But somebody who has claws on their feet, you need to watch that they don't dig into the back of your foot or your leg and kick you with those claws. So they need to watch as behind you, tell them to take short steps, you know, so that this way they're walking like this and they're not taking a step where they're going to claw you. So that's how you get through a crowd. Shorter suitors in front, taller suitors behind. Walk them through the 3 steps they get through. Polite, somewhat obnoxious, completely obnoxious to get them through the crowd. Saber said that was Febreze. I'll take his word for it that it was Febreze. I'm pretty sure Romer's pretty warm. I'm pretty sure the rest of you are pretty warm. If you need to take your headpieces off, please do so. Don't be afraid to take them off in here. If you got a balaclava on, no one's going to know who you are. Or get water. We have water in the back. Do you need anything?
I'm fine.
So it's that easy, navigating a crowd. Now, navigating around objects can be a little more difficult, because you have multiple ways to deal with a person in this sense. I will deal, let me take you here.
What up?
So he's in fursuit, I'm walking along, there's a chair in front, I'm gonna turn around, I'm gonna take him, I'm gonna grab him under the arm gently, and I'm gonna walk, and now he should not fight me, he's gonna walk with me and around the object. Now, worst comes to worst, I can go and grab him here, and push him around the other side and have him go around the object, meet him on the other side. But that's only if you're more experienced and they can see a little bit. Any other way, you're gonna grab them by the arm, or you're gonna grab them around the back if you're father and daughter, or as in me and Mike here. You're gonna grab them around the back and you're gonna walk them around the object. You don't want to ever scare your shooter. Oh my God, there's something in front. Don't, because you're gonna hurt them. Again, grab them under the arm, walk them around. Don't pull and tug their arm hard, because you're gonna hurt them. Again, I can't stress this enough as a handler. Don't hurt your fursuiter. Walk them around the object. Stop them and start them is a different matter. Tables, objects, people in the way are all objects. Little kids are especially an object. They're very dangerous and detrimental, and I see a lot of them here. The fursuiters, depending on their height, you can have a little kid, oh my God, look, it's a... And the next thing you know, your suitor's singing 500 decibels above what they should be, because the kid, they can't see and you're not paying attention. The kid has now struck from waist down and could hurt the suitor potentially. So, thanks, Chief. So, it's a matter of walking them around objects, poles, people. You just gotta be aware, basically, of what's around you. He's filming, so I really need to work with somebody that's not going to get upset with me here. I'm not sure who to go with here. I don't want somebody to get upset with me for the way I'm going to be manhandling, in a sense. Let me take Randy. No offense, man. I would rather work with somebody here that I can actually work with. Over here, Randy. Okay. Now, slowing down and stopping your suitor can be multiple ways to do this. Again, you're going to grab your suitor by the shoulder. Don't dig. You're going to grab and you're going to tug slightly. Don't fall, Randy. Plant your feet. Don't move. So you're going to tug like you're pumping on a brake. You're going to tug to slow them down and tell them why you're slowing them down. Don't yell at them. Again, tell them, Randy, you got somebody in front of you, stop, or slow down. Okay, slow down, let me get you around. Now, other words, you grab them and you pull. Not hard, again, you're gonna pull and say, Randy, stop. There's a little kid in front of you. And he should just stop immediately and pull the foot back if he's in mid-stride. Now, turn to the side. This is where it becomes difficult. I say hand to the center of the back, as you looking from over here, and your hand here. If you need to push gently on their stomach to slow them down. Push hard to stop them. Pray to God they don't bark in their fursuit. Don't hurt them. Now, while I was saying I wanted to watch who I did this with, again, con rules, PDA. You don't reach low and grope any fursuiter, male or female. On a male suitor, you don't reach low to the front because you're going to reach and grab places that you're not supposed to. That could be considered a PDA. If they catch you, you're going to get your badge relieved and you're going to be tossed out of the con. In a female situation, it's again, don't reach low in the back, but in the front you got to watch. You got to catch here. Don't reach low in the front. Don't reach high in the front. Female's a lot different when you're working with them. Again, sometimes it could be fast. Make sure you know where your hands are going and don't slap them so hard that you hurt them. Sorry, Randy, I didn't mean to do that.
That's okay.
I know you're fertile. So, again, hand to the back, hand to the midsection, pump, like you're pushing on a brake to slow them down. Push it a little bit harder and hold it to stop them. Again, not low for male and female, not low for male and female, not high for female. Because you're either going to get slugged or you're going to get in trouble. One or the other. Turn you back. Now, working again, stopping and slowing them down again, as you have this manner here. But then you're going to have your extreme situation where you need to stop them fast without scaring them. That's going to be one of these, and grab them. But don't hurt them. Grab them and stop them because they may step off of a curb. They may really step off of a curb and the car is coming, not paying attention. Somebody may be ready to step in front of them, or there's a little kid, and you need to stop them very fast and drastically. Again, don't hurt them. Just grab them. If you can, grab them this way and pull. Stop. Tell them why you're stopping them as quick as you can so they know what's going on around them. Now, it's easy. Again, common sense. Am I right? Is this all common sense, folks?
Yes.
So, now, one thing that you're doing as a handler, people are going to stop, oh my God, I want a picture. Do you mind if I take a picture with you? This is all your call, okay? The suitor's going to want the picture, but the suitor can't see. He's only looking at this. So, it's not one of those, look, the camera person over there wants a picture. Your fursuiter's going, where? You need to take them and point them towards the camera or have the camera person step in front of them. As a handler, if you have a fursuiter that goes and stands there, dear Lord have mercy, we need this kind of panel here. How to pose in fursuit. If you have an action suit, get that action pose. I'm a wolf, I'm a jaguar. I will get in the fursuiter and I will get in the camera's face, literally. If I got a lightsaber, it's a pose or a pose. If you're cute like Cookie, or you're cute like Romer here, or the kitty, you're gonna turn around and just go, you know, one of these, one of these, one of these. You know, TK's good for those. TK's good for one of these or one of these. Chipper Wolf he's just bouncy and bubbly and just poses any which way he wants, and he's cute no matter what. Thanks, Randy. Okay. So, again, you're doing a lot more with your suitor besides stopping, starting, and walking him around. You need to know if somebody wants a load of pictures, plant your fursuiter, let them pose, step out of the frame, let all the pictures go. By this point, they're blind from the flashes, unless they're outside. Let them gather their eyes a moment, ask them if they're ready to move, and then move. So navigation is easy. You just gotta be careful on steps, escalators. They're your two worst enemies, and little kids, as I said. But steps and escalators, again, you know, count the number of steps going off, up, and down. You're behind them going up, in front of them going down. Escalators are the same way. Watch their claws on the rail. Make sure they get the 1 foot up and ready to step off and keep walking with no problem. If you have a tail that's long, grab it. And this way it's not going to get caught at the bottom of the rail. That's why the red pandas run around like this, because their tail is 9 yards that way, behind them. So you want to grab the tail and you're going to hold it so this way, if you're behind them on an escalator going up, just keep their tail slightly away from the step and so it doesn't get caught at the top. Again, it's all common sense. I may be going fast, Gareth is recording this, just the other gentleman is recording this, find out who they are, if they're on Facebook or on YouTube. This panel is on YouTube, Trekwolf 1. You'll see this and you can watch this anytime if you forget something. Now, when you have physically challenged fursuiters, such as this young gentleman here. This young gentleman obviously cannot get up and move, but he does have a motorized scooter. But most fursuiters I've seen so far have the push wheelchairs. But he still needs help, and that's, I guess, what Cookie's for. If he wants to buy something, he may have a bag in the back here, as this gentleman does. You as a handler need to be trustworthy. If they need you to pay for something, they'll hand you the money, you pay for it, you give them back the change, and they'll put it away, or you put it away back in their bag. Don't ever steal from a physically challenged person. Because if I see it, I'm going to come after you. And I think they're brave and courageous to be here in a suit, sweating to death, stuck that they can't move. I'm trying not to embarrass you like I'm there. I don't want to turn around and make you guys seem like you're completely. Don't ever make your. And if they're physically challenged like this, even Ricario, walking with his, he's dragging his foot. Don't laugh at that. You help them. I don't ever embarrass your suitor if they're in a wheelchair. Because again, if I see that, I'm going to come after you. I don't like that. Sitting there having dinner last night, the people in Pittsburgh, we were in August Henry's, suitors walking up and down the street, and they're laughing at them, making fun of them. And I'm hot under the collar, trying to eat my food and bite my tongue before I said something nasty. Someone like this, again, to me, is very brave and courageous. There's a young gentleman here that had a private party Friday night and paid a lot of money to be here. He wants to be a fursuiter, but he can't. He's deaf. And he's in a scooter chair that he can't be. For some odd reason, for some reason or another, he cannot be in a fursuit, but he wants to be. And he can't. So, you know, this is the kind of thing you deal with. Again, emotionally, you feel bad for this gentleman, but it's your duty to keep them safe and make sure they have fun. If you're in an elevator with them, and some young punk tries to get in front of him, getting on the elevator before he does, you as the handler need to now step in. Because you don't take that for nothing. Suitors have priority getting on an elevator. Unfortunately, I said the door side and the Weston don't have a clue about that. We were in the courtyard 2 years ago, going upstairs for a minute. People from Philadelphia were here for the Phillies game against the Pirates. I had the kitty with me. They stepped off to the side and let him on the elevator first. People have common sense. A lot of furries don't, unfortunately. And they will push you to the limit. Which, working with the navigation, you're also their guardian. They can't defend themselves. They can't. A lot of suitors can't. Diesel, if he's somebody, I know we would mess with him. Diesel's about 6'3", and his suit looks very mean and his feet are very big. I would never mess with him if I seen him coming. I was walking along the waterfront. These two drunk people turned around and tried to mess with my suitor. And I stepped in front of him and they're like, "Who are you?" I said, "I'm the handler. I'm the one that's got to deal with me." So DJ pushed me to the side because he's about 320 in a polar bear. And he starts to take his paw off. I'm like, "No, this is my job. Don't look for a fight. Don't look for a fight. Try and diffuse it, walk away. If they have a big mouth and they want to keep talking, ignore it. Don't start a fight with them. Don't start a fight with somebody that's ignorant. Because they don't have a clue what it's like to be in the suits and understand." So, as a handler with the navigation, you need to protect them at whatever cost you think is possible. So there's your navigation. Your navigation, going through medical, you learn how to communicate. You know how to work down steps, escalators, curves, so forth and so on, through crowds. Now, big danger is what we call, and I want to watch Randy turn red, fanboys and fangirls. These are detrimental to fursuiters drastically because they blindside your fursuiter. They have a, more or less, when I say fanboy and fangirl, I see the question marks go, huh? What? Fanboys and fangirls, more or less, they have an obsession with a fursuiter. And they will follow them, they will stalk them at any chance they get, they will touch the fursuiter, try and get a hug from them and not want to let go. And they do that. Some people are a little different, you know. They have a habit of coming up and blindsiding your fursuiter in the side, which could hurt them because they're going to bend this way and buckle away, or drastically hurt the suitor more. So you see somebody running towards your fursuiter, if you're not sure if they're running at your fursuiter or not, they may be running to do one of these chicken runs, as I would call them, run towards the fursuiter and suddenly run around them. That's where your other grab the fursuiter and stop them and hold them. If you can brace them, they may get squished in the middle, but you're going to brace the fursuiter or step in front of them to take the blow from the moron running at them. Thank you. Yes, I am. So I'm worried about the suitors, and luckily he's worried about me. So again, fanboys and fangirls are very detrimental. They come under your blind spot if they're short. One guy yesterday, they could be rather tall, but I think two was in the lobby, and the guy said something to two, and two mentioned the kid by name. And the guy just went, "Oh my God," and just dropped to the ground like he just met David Bowie or something. It's like, oh my God, it's only two, the ranting griffin. What's the problem here? But no, fanboys and fangirls, he didn't go after two, but you as a handler need to pay attention around your fursuiter 360 degrees to make sure no one is come running at them. And if you see somebody around your suitor more than once in the first 2 hours of the con that they're out, remember that face. Because they could be stalking your fursuiter. And you don't want that. One point in time, and I don't understand why she did not call hotel security. Maybe she was afraid. Somebody was stalking a very famous, popular fursuiter. We all know her telephone. Trapped her in her room for 5 hours as he sat outside the room. Why she didn't call hotel security, I don't know. This is a drastic stalking situation. I've had stalking situations that I've dealt with as a handler. Nice fursuiter I know found out he was sick before the con many years ago. All the other fursuiters knew this. The gentleman, they were trying to keep him as safe as they could when he was in fursuit. But there happened to be a person that had a football fetish. Always loved to play with fursuiters' feet paws. It's kind of gross to me. And at one point, the fursuiters would gather around the one suitor and keep this guy out from getting to him while in the dance and whatever. But then I went into the headless lounge and found him manhandling this fursuiter's feet. And the guy's laying there on a chair. And I could see the look through his balaclava that he was not happy. So I went and I got the door side. Kicked everybody out of the headless lounge that was not supposed to be in there. And now the fanboy can be rather obnoxious. He came, I went over by the elevator, come downstairs, he came running across through the glass walls that they have between them, straight at me. I dropped a 350-pound dragon to the ground, and I dropped his mate to the other side. I turned, I braced, I threw my foot out and missed his face by this much with my size 13. because he was a fanboy that was obsessed. These are the worst ones. There's another fanboy that you'll see walking around here, they call him Snowball. He's in a white t-shirt, a white Under Armour hat, he has a camera hanging off the side of his head, tan khakis, and he's walking and talking to himself and looking like he's lost. He creeps the fursuiters out ungodly. I see him, I run. I know Saber sees him and he runs. He's dangerous,
And you will
because
see,
he's quiet.
and you will see a lot of us actually corralled around fursuiters to basically block him
To
away.
keep him away. If you're out of suit, even if you ladies are out of suit and you see him around, and this young lady here is behind, her father will step in front, you ladies step around the side to keep him away from her. Because he is, unfortunately, I have to say, he walks around and says, I hate furries, I hate furries. And you sit there and go, what are you doing here? He's got a camera hanging, he's trying to pull his phone, and he's talking to himself the entire time. That's what creeps the fursuiters out, because he comes over and he gets right in their face, right in their face. You need to keep an eye out for him. If you are in fursuit by yourself, as Romer would be, and Cookie, you need to keep an eye out for this young gentleman here. Even you need to keep an eye out for yourself. If you see this guy with the camera hanging off the side of his head with the white head, stay away from him. Because to me, he's one of the most dangerous kind by sitting there saying, I hate furries, I hate going to conventions, why am I here? And then he's walking, talking to himself, and he wants to take your picture and gets right in your face. No. I won't put up with that. We will go around the fursuiter, and as he steps and keeps going, and the more he moves, the more you move. You try and push him back, and he tries to go this way. So you just keep walking right around them. Don't let them near the suitor. You can see them, you know them, because they're constantly finding, oh my God, he's so, and they want to come over and touch the suitor, whatever. It's really frustrating and creepy. Very creepy. Very, very creepy. So watch out for your fanboys and fangirls. They really can be. And again, I'm not going to embarrass, but some fanboys can be, just because they like the fursuiter so much. They may want to come over, they may want to give them a hug. I, at one point, had a fanboy of mine, foreign, not in my Jaguar suit, my Trekwolf suit. He comes over in the lobby of the Westin several years ago. Oh my God, you're so adorable. And he's squeezing my head as he's talking and shaking me. My handler's going, Trek, this person was in picture. Do you see I'm not trapped at this point? You want to come save me? I had to get myself out of that situation because my handler thought he could say, Trent, this person wants a picture. This person was going to let go of me. That wasn't the case. I again had to defend myself, gave him 3 warnings, and at the 3rd warning, I pulled my hand and I went back like this as he was holding one to my head, and he said, you don't have to get so violent. I asked you to let go. So, you need to pay attention and don't go, Romer, this person wants a picture. Go over and get Romer out of the situation. Get your suitor out of the situation if you think if the person won't let go. So, if you're fanboys and fangirls, that's that situation. Now, I don't have a quad suit here, unfortunately. I wish I did. Quad suiters, if you have never seen them, for you younger generation, quad suiters are suitors who are on all 4.
I'll demonstrate for you.
Really?
Even though I'm not, imagine a quad suiter, their suit is designed, they're actually walking on stilts on their feet.
And
They're
bent
actually
over.
down like this.
So that's a quad suit. They're on all 4s. So basically, your quad suiter, come on, get up there.
But yeah,
I don't wanna
you
have to
saw-
drag- I don't
but you
wanna-
saw how my head was. My
Your
head's
head
up.
is back. Now, a quad suiter's head is tilted back because they need to see out of the fursuit. That's a lot of pressure on your neck. Don't allow somebody to come near your fursuiter if they're a quad. My requirement for a quad, no less than 3 years handling before you would try and attempt a quad suit or multiple suitors. Now, if you go over and you try and pet the head of a quad suit, you're putting a lot of pressure on their neck. You could damage their neck. People try and go, oh my God, look at Fursuiter, and they try and get over them like a horse and sit on top of them. You're going to break their back. I have to be careful with this one. So give me a second to think about this for a moment. You need to have 360-degree eyes if you're working with a quad suiter because of the fact we have people in the fandom that think they're funny and they give the fandom the sexual bad reputation that we have. So basically, again, I apologize to the young ladies here. They will try and go behind the fursuiter and do obnoxious, nasty things behind your quad suiter. This is when you play football. Bam, and you tackle them out of the way if they won't move, because that's just obnoxious, lewd, and nasty. Quad suiters are very difficult to handle for. If you're doing 360, 2 people I recommend, and no less than 3 years handling before you touch a quad suiter, because they're so difficult to handle for. Physically challenged suiters are a little easier, like I said. But quad suiters are very difficult to handle for because of the nature that they're in. They can be injured very quickly. They can break a leg, break an arm. People are obnoxious and nasty and do stupid things to them. You really have to be careful and watch when you have a quad suiter. Okay. Quad suits, medical, communication, navigation. I'm doing pretty good. Okay. One thing you don't ever want to do to your fursuiter is strand them. When I say strand them, it is, I don't want to do this no more. And you walk away from them and leave them standing there going, I can't move because I can't see. That's what you were for. And they leave. Now, several years ago, down here on this floor, gorgeous German Shepherd, their handler decided, I don't want to do this no more. Put them under a hot spotlight against the glass wall. And this suitor is melting, and I'm watching, it's sitting on the floor. At this point in time, I'm checking the watch, 15 minutes, the handler's not coming back. And I'm watching the bathroom, because he never went there, because he went straight down the hallway here and down to the dealer's room. Basically straining that poor shepherd. At this point, I got up and I approached the shepherd quietly, and I read the badge. I knew the shepherd from online. It said Tank. I'm just going to use any shepherd. I'm just going to use any name here, so it's not Tank. Tank, are you okay? I'm waiting for my handler. He's not coming back. He's stranded. Took him in the headless lounge. I got him set up and I got him all cleaned up. I got him cooled off. Took him back to his room. Now I'm not saying you need to do this. Because they may be able to get back by themselves, or they may see a friend and ask them to take them back. But I went to the extreme to help Tank because I knew who he was. Took him back to his room. I got him out of the suit. I told him to stay on the bed and lay there. Don't move. Left him in his Under Armour. Don't move. Put water next to the bed. And I went after the handler. I went down to the dealer's room, and he's standing against the wall with his posse, talking. And I walked over. I said, why did you just strand that German Shepherd? I didn't do anything of the sort. I said, yes, you did. I sat there and I watched you. I want to have you blackballed from every con that I can find. You'll never get into another one. Those of you who don't know, a little on the popular side of the fandom for things I've done to help kids in my fursuit. My one fursuit is retired. It's $3.5 million in charity money raised. So, I'm a little on the known side. So when this guy's like, he thought he was like James Darren or something, he's like, get him. The rest of them turned around and went like this. I said, nope. You deal with him. And he just turned around and his eyes got like those Japanese anime. And he started to shake. I said, what's wrong? If I see you stranded another fursuiter, I'm going to come after you. If I see you handling for another fursuiter, I'm going to take over and find that fursuiter, somebody else that will deal with them properly. The guy left. Again, I said, I'm a Star Trek fan. I am no nonsense. I've been doing this for many years. I was handling longer than I've been fursuiting. When I am in fursuit, that switch doesn't turn off. I am constantly looking for fursuiters to make sure they're okay. I waste half of my time at a con to make sure other suitors are safe, putting my fursuiting aside, allowing my fun to go down the toilet to make sure somebody like him, Cookie, Romer, Saber, this young lady here, or this gentleman here, or lady here, I'm sorry, can't tell, that they're safe. I'll put my entire con aside to make sure one suitor is safe if I have to. That puts me in a hard position because I'm always working. Though I have no badge that says professional handler, they truly should have labels and tags like this that say handler. Somebody that they can trust if a suitor needs help. They can see that badge and run to them, but they don't have those. That's what your job is for, to make sure they are safe. Again, I lose half my time enjoying myself because I'm always making sure you're safe. You as a handler, I could say you're not off duty all the time, but you keep in the back of your head and go, you know what? Kind of seen that suitor past 3 hours. Doesn't look like he might have any water. Check on him, ask him if he's had water. If they say no, if they look at you like you're crazy, obviously that's because of the fursuit eyes, but do you imagine what their face is like underneath going, why is he asking me this? You want to make sure they're okay, and they haven't sweat. Are you guys okay? Because I asked for God help me. I really am a fan. I want to tear con ops apart. Are you suitors okay? I see you guys took your heads off. You're smart. Are you okay? You? Okay. Saber, Romer, Cookie, you okay? You all right back there? And you're okay. Okay. Again, I make sure of this. Again, see, I'm trying to teach this, and yet I'm making sure they're all right. This drives me nuts. And he gets mad at me because I waste my time having fun, making sure you're safe. I'm not saying you need to be like me. You just need to make sure they stay safe at a con. I'm at the EFM Fur Bowl. Diesel could tell you, Romer could tell you, Randy could tell you, Tara could tell you. I never bring my fursuit, never. Because I want to make sure they don't get hurt. Because there's a lot of objects in the bowling alley. There's short little steps they can stumble down. And I'm constantly sitting in the back watching the fursuiters to make sure they don't get hurt. Especially if they're bowling in their fursuit. I'm watching for dehydration. I'm watching for somebody to slip the wrong way, or step the wrong way, or throw the ball and hurt themselves. This is why I look so miserable while I'm sitting there at the con, at an EFM, as Diesel's back there laughing, and Romer can attest to this, that I sit there and look miserable, but I'm not. I'm miserable because I can't get my fursuit. But I'm also working, making sure they're safe at the EFM, at the fur bowls that we go. So, again, you can separate the handling from the fun. I've been doing this so long and teaching this so long, I can't. I put the first one, I'm supposed to be bouncing, bumping, jumping up and down as a jaguar, but I'm walking around and my eyes are constantly going up and back, making sure I don't see another suitor in distress. It's terrible. It's a bad thing for me. Don't get like me. Learn what I'm teaching you, yes. Don't get like me and become complacent to the point where you can't have fun at con. Every year I say I'm going to have fun. Every year I put myself in to do this panel. Every year I go home and I kick myself in the behind and go, what happened? Did I have fun? I'm having fun because this is his first Anthro concert. Yes, I'm having a lot of fun watching him go. So, again, don't get like me and be complacent and go, I need to watch every Fursuiter. That becomes a little creepy. But as you're walking and you're walking up, you know what, he may not be right. You just slowly, you know, if you're walking the same direction, you just slowly watch them. And if they stumble or something, you go check on them. If you have another Fursuiter, you set them aside, I'll be right back. Don't move. And you go check on the other Fursuiter. If two of you are walking with a Fursuiter, you take care of him, I gotta go check on this one. You know, I was walking with the Kitty and Brad Hound, and I saw a suitor stumble. It didn't seem like they were right. So I said to Saber, take Brad Hound. Let me go check on this other suitor. Again, it's just my nature as a wolf, protecting, guarding, making sure my pack and my family is safe. I want to make sure the suitors are safe. This is what you're here to learn. Make sure the suitors are safe. Now, if you're out in public, you're watching for the tail pullers, you're watching for the ignorant rude people. That becomes a little harder. That would be Kajani's panel upstairs. Or see if you can find something on YouTube to watch to handle people out in public. We at the EFM are trying to get out into the public. We don't have enough handlers to deal with all the fursuiters. Unlike the West Coast furs who know if you're in fursuit one time, the next video, you're a handler. Diesel is rarely in his fursuit at a fur bowl because he runs it along with Kohag and Cabot, and they're making sure they can do what they need to do. So they're giving up their time again too, as a suitor, to run something for the suitors, and I'm sitting there making sure the suitors are safe. Which I'm pretty sure I'm going to get clobbered at one point in time because he's constantly yelling at me, you need to have fun. Why do you look so miserable? I can't have fun. I can't. It just won't turn off. I want them to be safe. And that's what you want. That's why you're here. You're here to make sure they have fun at the con. You ladies need to be safe. It's your first time fursuiting, am I correct? This year? You are watching them to make sure they're safe. You folks out there, if you see these two angel dragons, I believe you two were angel dragons, am I correct? Oh, okay. If you see the young ladies and you see something is wrong, check on them. Check with this gentleman here who is with them, but check on them and make sure they're safe. Make sure they're okay if you see something maybe wrong. So, again, emotional attachment needs to be put aside to be a handler proficiently. Because God forbid something happens, you're in panic. You need to be able to communicate honestly, to trust each other before you leave the room. You need to be able to communicate out on the floor verbally, hand signals, or body language. You see where I'm going with all these points here? This is all common sense. Navigation, you're watching around them constantly. You're walking around behind them to move them to the left, to the right, to stop them, to grab them, what have you. You are there to keep them safe. And they can have fun, and you can have fun with them. Now, I'm going to try and get through the story very quickly, and then we're going to try and have a Q&A if anybody has any questions. When I say you are having fun as a handler, I was at a sci-fi con in Maryland. Gentleman turns around, my buddy works for the Philadelphia Zoo. He comes over and he's like, Trek. I'm like, what? He's like, here comes a little girl. And this little girl comes walking down and she's staring at me. He's like, work with me. I'm sitting there going, oh dear God, what does he have in mind? He's like, okay, Trek, sit. Can't see my face in the fursuit because I got this nasty scowl on my face. I sit, I get down on all fours, and I'm sitting there, and she's staring at me. He's like, okay. She goes over, she steps in between to take a picture. He's like, okay, Trek, heel, it's up off the floor, and I'm sitting there on my haunches. He's like, now, hands on the paw, paws on the shoulder, gently. So I put my paws on the shoulder and I opened my mouth. He's like, you ate, stop. Of course, the little girl didn't flinch, but he was playing with me and I was reacting back to him. But then all of a sudden, before I realized it, I have 75 people going, oh my God, that's so adorable. Flashes everywhere. I'm like, oh God, save me. But when she got done, he's like, okay, Shadow, paws off. She walked away, put my hands back down, and I stood back up after she ran off with her mom. I stand up and I grab her and I drag her outside and I'm going to kill you. You as a handler can have a lot of fun if the fursuiter is going to listen to you do this. If the fursuiter is going to listen to you and play like that, you can have a lot of fun. So, do I have any questions, comments, anything? You folks are being very quiet. Yes, ma'am.
I actually have a comment regarding pursuit, like priority. So I was taking the shuttle in my suit back to the DoubleTree from here at the convention center.
Yes.
And we stopped by, I think it was, I don't remember what hotel, but there were a lot of people getting on. And the fursuiter was in the back of the crowd, and they almost couldn't get on the bus because so many non-suitors were on the bus. And I think that I just want to remind everyone that, especially for the shuttle service, suitors should have priority so they don't have to walk around in the hot sun.
See, the convention goes and hires a shuttle service. They have no clue between priority of a fursuiter or not. And that's a bad thing. Like you're pointing out a good point. Unfortunately, people don't understand that. Like I said, the people walk down the street here, they'll just continue to walk toward your fursuiter and make the fursuiter try and squeeze out of their way. Now, I've been past Sonoma last night and squid moose, big moose, walking around with sombrero or the Royal Canin. You can't stop at 5 feet before they're constantly going, oh my God, can I get a picture? People stopping eating to take pictures. Now, this is one thing I wanted to get to. As a handler, if you're taking your suitor back to the room, and somebody wants a picture, it's your right as a handler to refuse, but not without the suitor's permission. If the suitor says, I want to get back to the room, I don't want to stop, tell the person, I'm sorry, look, I need to get them out of the suit. They're extremely hot. I'm sorry. If you're downtown later, catch me now. Catch me later. If the suitor says, yeah, I can do this, tell the person, take the picture quickly. If they have 7 or 8 people that say, I want to get a picture with the fursuiter, I'm sorry, the fursuiter is extremely warm, cannot have that many people around them. Again, it is their choice and your choice to make sure who is doing, if you want them to take the picture or not. Because you may have got to get them back to the room because they have a problem. Anything else? Any more comments, questions? Yes, sir.
Should the handler also have medical information about the suitor in
Yes.
case there's an emergency?
But that's what the whole point at the very beginning is. When I said you need to communicate honestly to trust. So if you're trying to communicate, like I said, had I gone to anybody else in this room except for G here, G, Randy, and the guys at the EFM, even Diesel doesn't know this, that I've had the 3 heart attacks, or infractions as I call them. 1 mild one, 2 smaller ones. I literally am missing 1% of my heart, and it is scarred and will never rebuild itself. I should not be fursuiting, but I do anyway. He knows all this. This is what the communication is at the very beginning, to tell them, I'm also a type 2 diabetic. He knows that too. If I'm lost, spaced out, and I seem like I have no idea what's going on, my sugar's high or it's low, get me back to the room and check the sugar. I carry, as you see, they're sugar-free. I carry candy with me. I usually will have sugared candy if my sugar is low. If my sugar is high, I may have peppermints with me. Peanuts. Peanuts, protein. Or glucose. He carries glucose with him. as an EMT. So, you folks, plan before you leave the room. So, again, you need, as the suitor, you need to tell the handler exactly what's going on, what they need to do. If they don't feel comfortable, if you don't feel comfortable, say no. They may get mad, but you want to keep, you don't trust them at this point. Two-way street, I got 6 minutes. Handling and suiting is a two-way street. I'm out with Sam, I'm out with these two gentlemen, Cookie and this gentleman here. And I'm handling for both of them, which I can do, since I've been doing this so long. And Cookie says, I want to go down to the dealer's room. He's like, I want to go too. I'm like, okay, fine. Take him down to the dealer's room. But if I turn around and go, you know what, get that Pumbaa. I really don't want to go down to the dealer's room, it's boring. But they want to go. Later on, he may be back in the room resting, and I'm out with Cookie, and I'm in suit, and Cookie's go handling for me, and Cookie goes, I want to go down to the dealer's room. Cookie's right, hell no, you wouldn't take me earlier. Two-way street. You're going to get the same treatment as them as a handler as you gave them. Now, G here, I'll sit there and I'll give him, and he'll go, and he'll just slapping around. I want to go down to the dealer's room and start throwing a tantrum. No, I won't do that. But still, you might have a fursuiter that wants to, but still, I want to go down to the dealer's room. No. Wait till you're in fursuit and I'm handling for you. That'll never happen. No, still, it's a two-way street. You need to work together. It's give and take. So if you're in suit and she's not, you want to go to the dealer's room and she doesn't. When you're in handling and she's in suit and she wants to go to the head dealer's room, no. That's the way it goes. That's the way it's got to be. Give and take, unless you're the one that goes, okay, fine, I'll take it. And you give in. Even though they didn't take you to the dealer's room. Any questions? Any more questions? Do you folks see that this is common sense? Do you see how easy this is? How it's so easy, it's ridiculous. And I'm so glad to see this many people in the room because I see a lot of people, I see a lot of suitors walking up into a wall because they cut the wall short. You see me, I was over here and I just backed into the table before because I'm hyper and wandering around. But you're always on guard for another suitor. If you are a suitor and you're a handler, turn it off. But also don't turn it off. In your fursuit, if you see someone in trouble, check on them. If you're a handler by yourself, out, as you ladies are not in your fursuit, if you see a suitor and they seem like they're in trouble, make sure that you think that they are before you ask them a question because they may think you're crazy. Check on them. Again, it can't ever have fun. Even in the parade, the first suitor in front of me, I'm listening to the suitors behind me, the camera's up and I'm looking around, checking the people around. I'll be checking, making sure he's okay. This is the longest parade he's been in. First time I'm going outside. So it's going to be one of those, he's keeping an eye on me, I'm keeping an eye on him while we're walking. 2 minutes. Questions? Anything? Comments?
It was an informative discussion.
Thank you very much, sir. Do we all? Yeah, go ahead.
Do they have a panel for the first-time fursuiters to say, if you feel this way, you should stop and
Okay,
stop?
okay. Well, you as a handler, most fursuiters should know their limit. A lot of fursuiters don't. These gentlemen here that are sitting here, and then the young lady here sitting in her suit, she has her dad with her. Romer here's got Randy, but Romer has also been in the suit for a while. You're in the suit, but you got your head off. Cookie finally said, you know what, I give in, and took his headpiece off. The young police back here, he's been in the suit the entire time. These three
I had
gentlemen
his
back
head
here.
off actually when he came.
Did these three gentlemen back here, took the gentleman back here, took theirs off, and he's sitting there going, my tongue's hanging out, I'm dying. So, you see how it goes, if you are, there is no bail panel for first-time fursuiters. You need to build your stamina. You need to know what your limits are. Again, for me, I could be out wandering by myself in my fursuit and all of a sudden like, something's not right. Again, I'll stop and I'll listen. At that point, if I feel something is seriously wrong, if I have my phone, I'll go into the headless lounge and I'll call him. Or if I see Saber in the headless lounge, dude, go get me somebody, I don't feel good. I'm not sure what's going on in my heart. I feel 3 beats and the 4th one's not there. At that point, there's an AFib and a missed beat and there's a problem. So you need to know your own limits while you're out in the fursuit. A lot of suitors, again, don't. They'll turn around. Well,
Yeah, Trek, you had
yep,
one.
go ahead.
No, you had your hand up.
Question?
How can you tell the difference between just screwing around and if they're actually in trouble?
If they decide they want to screw around at that point, and you start to go into that mode as the handler and trying to help them, and then all of a sudden they're like, and there's nothing wrong with me. That's when you take them back to the room and say, you know what, you're on your own. That wasn't funny. You put me in a mode that I shouldn't have been in. Or if you think it's funny, if they're doing something stupid and you think it's funny, fine. But you as a handler need to turn around and know what's right, what's real, what's not. Playing with a fursuiter's life is nothing to play with. Honestly, it's not funny to play with anybody's life. I've seen people in here that aren't in fursuit that look like there was a problem and I'm watching. I don't just watch fursuiters. I keep an eye on everyone. And again, that's my nature. If they're playing around and they're a good best friend and you know they're playing, fine. But if you're handling for somebody that's a suitor and you know them not to have a sense of humor and they try to play something serious, all of a sudden they're not, that's crying wolf, basically. Funny joke here, anthrocon, wolf. That's crying wolf, like, the young kid that was screaming. Excuse me. I know I'm going over my time. But I want to answer this gentleman's question. Again, it's crying wolf. They may turn around and say, well, I'm playing around. 3 strikes, you're out. 4th time you tell me you're having a problem, I'm not going to believe you. If you are having a serious problem, I'm not going to believe you because you gave me false issues before. You need to decide what's going on. It's a very difficult, tricky situation, whether they're joking around or not. But you as a handler will become very serious if something does happen to them, or they start joking around going, Now, I can go over and go poke the kid. I can come over and go to Saber and go, and he goes, ow, my arm. I didn't hurt. But had Saber gone and slammed into a wall, and jokingly slammed into a wall, and goes, oh, my arm. And then 5 minutes later, he's going like this. He's joking around. But had he slammed into the wall and went, oh, and can't move the arm now there's a problem. Again, it's all a matter of what you think is going on. Again, 3 strikes, you're out. You give me another warning sign that there's a problem, I'm not going to believe you. Or I'm not going to handle for you anymore. I don't know how much I answered that question, so. But folks, I'm 3 minutes over. I hope you understand how easy this is. I hope you understand how serious it is, too. Serious, yet helpful. So, again, I'm Trekwolf. If you want to find this panel, my YouTube is TREKWOLF and the number 1, all one word. Look it up. The panel is on there. It may not be in the same order that I just gave it to you. 10 times I taught it, 10 times it's different. Though last time I didn't have a physically challenged fursuiter, or I did talk about the quad suiters though. I couldn't find a physically challenged suitor the last time. So it's TREKWOLF1 on YouTube. And you can watch the panel all over again. Just make sure you have a pair of earphones. the audio's not the greatest, but you can hear it better with earphones in. Guys, thank you very much. I appreciate seeing a room full of people.